What's up, everybody? It's Eric Spivak here for Blockster Media here at Consensus 2026 in South Beach, Miami. And we are here with Ian from World Foundation, and we are going to tell you a little bit about the future of identity, privacy, authenticity, certification, pretty much anything that needs to help you show that you are the you that you are behind the scenes. You know, right now in the AI age or the era of AI, we're seeing all of this adoption, and it's kind of making people question identity. It's kind of making people a little timid and hesitant to do business. I know I've gotten Telegram scams and social engineering and phishing accounts and people actually imitating me while I'm asleep and using deepfakes and vocoders and 11 Labs and a bunch of different tools to emulate who I am and what I do to try to scam and fraud people. So I think what you guys are doing is really important. So how about you introduce yourself and what you do at the World Foundation?
Yep. So I'm Ian. I do developer relations among wearing lots of other hats at World Foundation. Essentially, I help communicate how World works, what it does, why we've built it to a wide range of people, and help build it a little bit every now and then.
He's being modest. So I guess what does World do? If I'm new to it and I don't know anything about it other than you guys have these really cool, shiny, futuristic orbs that I assume are going to pop up holograms or something and see the next artist of our generation play. What is, I guess we could start with that and then maybe move backward into the bigger picture of what World's doing.
Yeah, so the orb is our device that is sort of your entry point to the strongest credential in World ID, right? World ID as a protocol exists to let you prove that you are a real, unique human on the internet. And the orb is what actually checks to make sure you're a human. The system working behind it makes sure that you're unique, and each human only has one World ID, so you can prove you're not a bot online.
And what happens if, let's say your house is on fire, God forbid, or something happens, an act of God, and your orb manages to go into a flash flood or disappear, or maybe somebody steals it because they think it's expensive. What level of encryption or what's the safety and security if it's supposed to be backing you and authenticating you? Who's to protect you when that goes away?
So the first thing is that users don't need an orb in their home, right? You visit the orb once, your World ID and all your data is self-custodied on your phone. Nothing is stored on the orb. No personal data is stored anywhere, right? It's completely controlled by you, right? So you just visit the orb once to verify. Everything's just on your phone. You can recover that from a backup to iCloud or Google Drive. Or if you really lose access to your World ID, you can go back to an orb to re-verify. But there's no data actually stored somewhere that's at risk of someone else getting access to it.
So it's more of a utility item, right? So one-time use utility item, you're getting a randomized number generated, almost like a social security number, and that carries with you throughout the rest of your life.
So the thing that we use for uniqueness is the pattern of the iris. Right? It's called the iris code. It's split into secret shares and stored in a multi-party computation system. So there's no one entity that has that iris data, right? Nobody ever learns your iris code. And when you verify at the orb, you get this orb credential, and you can generate zero-knowledge proofs moving forward that you have this orb credential, right? Those zero-knowledge proofs are what applications receive when you use World ID. They verify those proofs, and that's how they know that okay, this is actually a real human and not some just throwaway bot.
No, that makes sense. And I think for the future of ZK tools or zero-knowledge tools and products, a lot of people are trying to figure out how to become comfortable and confident using them because there's different levels of information that gets shared while some of it gets retained and you don't know what's what. And I'm a reject all cookies guy. I'm not necessary only. I'm I'm all in or I'm all out depending on how badly I want whatever's behind it. And then I just get deeper into the rabbit hole and I'm like, damn, my data is literally being sold left and right and up and down when I'm doing this. And on top of it, it's being used to train other things. So as long as World is not using it as training data, I'm pretty sure people are happy, which it doesn't seem like that's the case. It does seem like what you're doing is providing a faster, more streamlined and transparent and authenticated way to show yourself, right? Without having to go go beyond that. You don't need to show your ID. You don't need to do anything. As long as you have the app on your phone, you can prove that you are you. With that, I'm sure comes benefits and perks. I don't know how many incentives or if there are any, but what is attached to, let's say, step 2, after people go to an orb and they do their iris scan and they get their number and they get the app? What is the process that happens after, and what are the perks and benefits other than being able to verify I am who I say I am?
So, like, once you're verified at the orb, right, the process of actually using World ID is super simple, right? It's either like scan a QR code, generate the proof, done, or even just if it's on your phone, it automatically opens World app. So there are a number of like benefits you can claim with World ID. It's using the actual protocol for this, so all of that privacy is the exact same as any use case of World ID. There's a number of World ID benefits. You can claim the WorldCoin token, but the real value is in like the use cases for World ID. So one of these that I think is a really cool consumer use case is actually the integration with Tinder. So this is live in Japan and the US. You verify with World ID on Tinder when creating your profile, and not only is it proving that this isn't a bot, they haven't been banned before, but because the data captured by the orb is stored on your phone and nowhere else, the face that is in the photos on your Tinder profile is getting compared to the image of your face from the orb. So if you see that human verified badge on a Tinder profile, you know that that is actually who that is, and it's not a catfish, right? But when you verify with World ID on Tinder, you also get 5 free boosts, right? It's really good for Tinder to have actual humans on their platform instead of bots and catfishes.
Yeah, so the future of dating is through the world. No, I'm just kidding. But I could see that partnership or slogan being pretty funny and fun in the ways that you could take it. But yeah, that is important. I think, especially in crypto, we see it every day where people are imitating and duplicating accounts and other people. God forbid somebody actually does get hacked, and then it's difficult to reverse all of the damage that's done. And then sometimes it just spreads like wildfire, and then everybody is part of the mix with the problem that comes from opening that file or clicking that link. So I think as a universal authentication tool, it sounds like you guys are creating something that I haven't heard of anything that's like it. So I'm sure I can say it's one of a kind. What would you say is like the biggest form of obstruction or adversity that you guys face with consumers or enterprise businesses when it comes to integration or collaboration?
I think the biggest thing has just been getting to like sort of critical mass in terms of the size of the network. But I think we are sort of getting over that hump at this point, right? 2.5 weeks ago at our event, Liftoff in San Francisco, we announced integrations with Zoom, with DocuSign, the expansion of Tinder to the US, integrations with like Vercel as well. So we're at the point where like enterprises really are starting to feel the problem, right? With the Zoom integration, you can tell that that person you're seeing on Zoom isn't a deepfake, and deepfakes caused over $1 billion in losses for businesses last year. That's over 3 times what it was the year before. It's a really accelerating problem, and we are like top of the list for solving that problem.
No, that's great. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just going to become more of a necessity versus novelty, which I think is super important for everybody to recognize. And so, I mean, I've done events with World. I'm not paid here by World to be interviewing you, but I think it has value. And I've had IDs and passports stolen. I've had my identity stolen. There's a very dark web of things woven around that market, you know? And so I think anybody that's doing anything to help reinforce and strengthen the transparency between interactions of people is super important. And there's a humane part of that too, which I think is why you guys went to other regions that are a little bit more inaccessible first, and now you're scaling across the US, right? What was the impact that you felt that was caused? What was the impact that you felt was caused in these other regions of the world that weren't the U.S. that you were operating in?
So for us, like, we're building for the entire world, right? So we needed to make sure that the system worked for the entire world. Like, we took a very global stance from the beginning in the very early days so that we knew that we could actually really address all of humanity. But the other thing that we do with World, right, beyond World ID, we have World Chain, our own layer 2 blockchain, right? We have like integrations with Morpho, so real humans are getting better yield on deposits on chain. And access to financial tooling like that a lot of the world doesn't have access to, I think is one of the most meaningful impacts that we've made as we have grown and scaled.
No, that's amazing. I think you're covering all the bases and dotting the I's and crossing the T's step by step, and I haven't heard of anything negative or bad, so to speak, other than people's speculation around negative things, which really are just a matter of communication, information, and understanding, right? Which now you all have been effectively clearing up any misnomers or any incorrect information that's circulating around what you all are actually doing and what the intentions are, you know? So all that said, is there anything else that you want to leave the people that have never heard about the World Foundation or WorldCoin or your whole ecosystem? Anything that you feel would be a good entry point or access point for people to learn more?
Yeah, so anyone can download World app and like get started using World Chain. The orb is not the only credential in World ID as well. There's the NFC ID credential, scan the NFC chip in a passport or certain other types of government IDs. None of that data ever leaves your phone. We also recently announced selfie checks, so the sort of like low to medium assurance of uniqueness and humanness. So there's definitely like easy ways to get started with World. You can explore what's on offer. You can find an orb through World app and get verified if you'd like. So super simple to get started with. Just download World app.
All right, you heard it here, folks. Download World app, find a location near you, sign up, and you're good to go. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. And we'll catch you again.
Thank you very much.